Today I'm reacting to Zack.
She logged onto the library computer, which connected to the internet via a phone line, and she used it to auto-dial hundreds of other computers until one of them answered. Now, back then, if you had the password, you could access other people's files. So she typed in 0000 as a guess, but to her surprise, it connected, bringing up the FBI database. But since the password was so easy, she just thought it was a computer game. She spent 2 weeks looking through top secret information while the FBI scrambled to find the hacker. And when they finally showed up, they were shocked to find it was a child. They brought her in for questioning and discovered her mother worked for NASA. And because the girls saw the secret files, they thought her mother might have too, meaning she could have lost her job. But instead, they just banned the girl from computers for the next 8 years. They cut the ice from the frozen lakes, transported it back home before storing it in cellars lined with hay to insulate the room. This kept the temperature low, meaning in summer the ice was still frozen. They would begin to crush it and pour it into the outer ring of a wooden barrel, along with some salt. This brought the temperature inside to below freezing. And when flavored ice cream was poured into the inner chamber, it started to freeze when it touched the metal walls. Next, a paddle was hand-turned, mixing the cream and scraping it off the walls. This made ice cream before freezers ever existed. They cut the ice from the frozen lakes, stick the probes into the sausages, then connect them to a circuit board. Now, place your hand on a metal plate, with a wire connecting it back to the board. When you touch the sausage, electricity travels through the wet, salty meat, through your body, into the plate, and through the ground wire back to the board. This completes the circuit for that one sausage. The board will detect it like a button being pressed, and it instantly sends that signal to a computer, where it's turned into a piano note. Since each sausage is wired to a different key on the board, you're now ready to play your sausage piano. Stick the probes into the...
I want to break up. I'm sorry. You know I love you. But love just isn't enough.
Over 100 gears are fixed into place, and a small gear in the center of each one connects to the teeth of the one next to it. The first one starts turning, which spins the second wheel. But since the smaller gear has 10 times less teeth than the larger one, it has to rotate 10 times before the second gear rotates once. Now the second and third gears are connected the same way. The center of the second gear has 10 times less teeth than the third, meaning the third gear rotates once for every 10 turns of the second wheel and every 100 turns of the first wheel. By the time it reaches the 25th gear, the first gear has to rotate 1 septillion times for that wheel to turn, and it would have to make 10 quindecillion full rotations before the 50th gear made one full circle. Since each step is 10 times slower than the previous one, that means the last gear would be 1 googol slower than the first. That's 1 with 100 zeros behind it, meaning it would take longer to turn that gear than the entire age of the universe. The stray bullet struck her right in the stomach. It pierced the skin, but started to slow down as it entered her body fat. Layer by layer, the fat absorbed more of the bullet's energy, like a cushion. And by the time it hit deeper tissue, the bullet had lost most of its force, coming to a stop before hitting any organs and saving her life. The stray bullet struck... A 4-year-old boy was hanging from a 4th-floor balcony, his hands slipping with the ground far below. A man saw him and started climbing the building with his bare hands. No ropes, no harness. He pulled himself up ledge by ledge until he reached the scared child. Then he grabbed the boy and lifted him back onto the balcony, and the video spread all over the world. Now, the man was living in France illegally at the time, but after the president saw what he did, he gave him a job as a firefighter and made him a French citizen. The 4-year-old, he slid his head out of the food slot of his prison cell, then used his yoga training to squeeze his shoulders and arms through. And since he had covered himself in ointment, he managed to slip most of his body out of the 5.9-inch hole. When his hips got stuck, he removed his pants, finally slipping all of the way out. And after putting his pants back on, he snuck past the sleeping guards. One guard was fooled by the decoy pillows in his bed, but when they finally realized he was gone, they sent 400 officers after him. Now, he managed to dodge them for 6 whole days, until they found him on a rooftop, hiding in a cardboard box. They put him back in a cell, this time with a smaller food slot. He slid his
I didn't believe it until I tried it for myself, but if you download AliExpress off this video, you can get 3 items for just 99 cents, and it's got fast and free shipping.
If someone shot a gun at your injured arm, it would easily go right through the cast. And even if you added another one, it would still go right through. You see, a real cast is made from soft padding covered in plaster, but it's only about a ½ inch thick, meaning it can crack from just a hard bump. To actually stop a bullet, you would need to layer over 30 casts around your arm. The bullet would tear through, losing energy layer after layer until it finally stopped. But at that size, the cast would be too heavy to even move. If someone shot As a kid, your brain is constantly experiencing new things. Your first time eating a lemon, your first time riding a bike, or your first time winning a prize. And some say this is why time feels slower, because there's so much new information to process. But as you get older, things that were once new now feel old and boring. So your brain just forgets parts of your day, since you don't need to remember every single thing. And this makes time feel faster. But when something happens that breaks the routine, it gives you a new experience. This makes your brain work harder as it absorbs new information, which makes time slow down once again. As a kid, your brain is constantly experiencing new things.